What's up, girlies? So while cosplaying, things got a little serious and people took it a little bit more serious than they needed to. And I looked up and I was promoted. And after my first week, I knew that I needed a break. So I planned a staycation in Chicago at the Marriott Marquis. So let's immediately get into this room. This room was gorgeous. From the subtle nods of the city and the pictures to the view. The view was clearly the scene stiller here, but it was a nice big room. It was clean. I'm usually not a carpet girly, but this carpet seemed like it had been cleaned. And as you'll see later on in the video, you'll see the cleaning lady. She stayed on our floor cleaning. Like she cleaned literally 24 hours a day. So this room was perfect for what I had in mind. This when I came here, I said, you know what? I want to relax, but I also want to spend some time with God because I need to hear what it is that He's trying to tell me. I felt like He was sending me a lot of downloads and sending me a lot of messages, but I couldn't really hear it because it was just so distracting at work and in my apartment. So I said, you know what? Let me take advantage of this Marriott Reward program and go ahead and book a few nights at this hotel in South Loop, Chicago. And it did not disappoint. Now, I am a Marriott girly, so I spend a lot of nights at the Marriott, especially when I'm cosplaying. So I've been to Marriotts all over the West Coast, and this by far was one of the best. I love the amenities that they have. I love how spacious it is. I love how they think about the corporate girlies and making sure that we have an ironing board and that we have plenty of closet space as well as coffee. And the decor was just enough. Sometimes you go into these hotel rooms and the decor is super overwhelming or so much that you worry about the cleanliness of the room, or that could just be me. But I definitely appreciate the decor in this room. I also appreciated that it had Netflix because I wanted to catch up on a few of my shows too in between the time of me kind of studying and doing things like that. So again, girlies, let me just tell y'all about this view. I had a view of Lake Michigan and it was everything that it was supposed to be. And although it was raining when I first got there, I didn't even care. I spent so much time in this window that it was crazy. So here is our cleaning lady that I was telling you guys about. She stayed on our floor cleaning. And I also like the fact that she checked on me numerous times to make sure I had fresh towels and water and all those kind of good things that I needed because I did not request room service. So, but she still made sure she checked on me every day. So right now I'm finna get ready and head down to the M Lounge. The M Lounge is kind of like a members only lounge for those who I believe are platinum and above. Again, girlies, I told you I spend a lot of time in the Marriott when I'm cosplaying. So I do have the status, but I truly do believe that they have one of the best reward programs on the market when it comes to hotels. So the M Club is what they call it. You go in here and you're able to get free hors d'oeuvres and free breakfast, also non-alcoholic drinks, and you're able to go in this lounge and chill out, whether you want to chill or you need to take some meetings in here or whatever it is that you need to do. This lounge is available. So this is one of the bigger ones that I've been in. This one had a ton of decor. I love the little pig doing yoga. Fun fact, I like when I go out of town, I collect any statues or keychains or anything like that of animals doing yoga. I just think it's hilarious. But stick with me. So they did not have any food out when I was here. I was here probably around maybe like 3 o'clock and I had missed breakfast, and I don't think they have anything for lunch, but they did say that they were going to have hors d'oeuvres and more drinks available during dinner. But I didn't come back for dinner this night. But nonetheless, they had a coffee machine. They had all kinds of teas and things that that you would want. I did like the fact that they had spring water and flat water. That was my first time seeing this, so that kind of excited me a little bit. And then again, I think this is where they had the happy hour set up when they did have happy hour, but they had tons of snacks and trail mix and anything that you would kind of just want to stack on between meals. So I also said this is one of the bigger ones that I've seen. It was so much space in here, girlies, that I literally could have cosplayed and worked a full day in here if I had to work. They had tons of comfortable seating. The views were amazing. Lots of plugs because you always need to plug up that laptop or your camera or whatever it is that you may need to do. But I love that they had TVs in here and it was on CNN so you can kind of see what was going on with the news and the business world. They had tons of business magazines. It just really was putting you in your corporate girly era right here. I feel like this was corporate girly aesthetic and it was amazing. So this is me just kind of checking it out. Like I said, this was on the weekend, so I didn't have to work. But girlies, pay attention to these magazines that I'm putting in here. If you are looking to see what the people in the corporate world are talking about, those magazines are some that you should subscribe to. But this is me just kind of showing y'all that this hotel is actually across the street from the Wintrust Arena, which hosts different type of conventions and concerts and things like that. But it also is not that far from McCormick Place. So this did not this did not surprise me that this hotel had this capacity, and also that it had so many areas for people to kind of come and congregate in between meetings and things of that nature. So again, look at the little pig doing yoga, y'all. Like, I absolutely loved it. So this was me leaving because now it was time to kind of explore the hotel. And this is me kind of showing y'all like what the hours were. Like I said, they have different hours for different days, but showing you guys some of the seating area that they had. Again, tons and tons of seating areas, lots of good picture taking areas in my opinion, but also just a lot of areas where you can kind of just sit down and maybe catch up on some calls or plug your laptop in, check a few emails. While I was there, I think it was 2 conventions in town, and there also was 2 weddings here. So another great area for you to be able to kind of congregate with your guests in between, conventions or your wedding or whatever the case may be. I think that this hotel, for where it is located at, it really did take into account what was needed from the guest. So again, I also walked up on a full FedEx store. So I had never seen that before, and I was like, wow, it's like a full FedEx store in here. So if you needed to mail something, fax something, have something notarized, all of this was available in the hotel. So again, I think that they did a really great job of thinking about the type of guests that they would have at this hotel. That kind of mirrored where they were in proximity in Chicago. So I just really love that. Although I didn't need to use any of these services, I will keep that in mind when I am recommending this hotel to my other girlies who cosplay as business baddies. This is the lobby, and it looked like they had some type of silent auction kind of going on, which I thought was really cool. I think it was for a children's hospital in the neighborhood, but this vending machine, y'all, this is what really just kind of made me I was like, wow, they thought about everything. Because how many times have you gotten to the hotel and needed like medicine or something that you kind of forgot at home? This was their in-house restaurant. It was called Woven and Bounds, and it had gorgeous, gorgeous views, girlies. So I went here for lunch, and I was so surprised that they had so many vegan/vegetarian options. I was excited because it is so hard to find a good meal at certain restaurants. Usually the meals are boring, but this portobello mushroom sandwich was amazing. I did not like that they had the New York Times as their little fry paper, but I mean, to each his own. This was more so just kind of me showing you guys the different type of eating places that were available. So again, here I am back in the lobby, kind of showing you guys that you can kind of go ahead and see what was kind of going on. And then here I am putting the privacy on the door because it was time for me to shoot some content. So again, I was here mostly to kind of just do a little bit of thinking and talking to God and stuff like that. But I also wanted to try out my new ring lights and try to really get to know my DJI Osmo camera. And I think I did a really great job with that. So here it is. Here's me kind of doing some test filming. I was showing the girlies that I am not a wax girly. I am a shave girly. And if you're going to shave, you have to have shaving oil and you have to have a body scrub. But the next day, I went up and met up with my girls, and they wanted to go try this Prohibition THC Cafe, which blew me away. I do not partake in these type of activities, but they did have like lemonades and slushies and coffees for the people that did not partake. So they were non-infused, but this is an infused cafe. It is black owned, and there is the girl who was helping me. I think her name is Todd. She was super cool. She explained everything to me and my friends, and she allowed me to get all this great content. So I was able to kind of just show you guys what it looked like in here. They are on 21st in State, or I guess 22nd in State, right next to Reggie's, but they have a back room and everything, y'all. She said you can rent this back room out for $50 an hour. Like, it's huge for $50 an hour. But it was really cute in here, and I love the fact that it was spacious, but it kind of did not feel like it was out of place. Like it just really fit the vibe of the neighborhood. I felt like they had a TV back here. You don't usually go into many event spaces and you see TVs and chairs and lighting and stuff. And she said that, they can accommodate however many guests that we need to accommodate. But I also like the fact, y'all, they had games. So while my friends were in there doing their thing, I was playing the games. I was taking pictures. I was kicking it. I was on the patio for a little bit. She said they be on the patio all the time. So if you're in South Loop, check it out. Then we rolled up on the Love and Art Healing Studio. Y'all, this studio was so peaceful. When I first walked in, I just couldn't believe it. Like it just had an aura about it where it didn't feel like it was too much, like with incense and all that other kind of stuff. It just was a really light energy here. She said they host all types of arts and crafts classes here. They also have a flower shop. They have a plant shop. And this was me just kind of checking out all the different things that they had. They also have different rooms where they do, I think she said acupuncture, chiropractor. They had a little mini Pilates studio in here with the actual reformer machines. And the girl who walked me around, I cannot remember her name, but she was amazing. She explained everything, even though she was getting ready for a class. I think they said they were going to have, I can't remember what kind of art class it was going to be, but they were getting ready to have one that afternoon. But she took the time to kind of explain everything and what it was and how they got started, and, let me, try all types of different scents and things like that. And she walked me through the entire studio, and that's the reformer studio, the Pilates studio. I thought that was, surprising that it was in the back of this store like this. And then, like I said, we went through and she kind of showed me some of the other rooms that they had. And she said that every room had a theme, which I thought was so cool. She said that one has a Sedona theme, and I've been obsessed with an Arizona sunset, y'all. Like the oranges and the purples and all of that. I'm in love with it. So I can't wait to go back and go into the Sedona theme room to see what it was about. But of course, I walked out of there with a new plant baby. Meet Capri, guys. She is Monaco's new sister, and she's doing well so far. But yeah, so after that, I left my friends and I went back to my hotel. But as I was going back to my hotel, I went walking through South Loop. I never realized how beautiful South Loop is. It just had so many tree-lined streets, and just it just was so peaceful and serene, and the architect was nice. And I just really think that it's a hidden gem. Like, you don't really think that this being right off of Roosevelt or right off of State, but it is. Like, it was really nice. They had a lot of different stores and things like that up and through here that, I didn't really pay attention to before. So I'll definitely be back to try out some of the different kind of restaurants I saw, and to take a look at some of the different kind of stores that I saw, and other establishments that it was. It was a few boutiques down here, but it was a really nice walk. So it was also Rich Auntie Day. So I went outside to go meet somebody's son for a drink. And y'all, it was just really bad. So I came back home and I Netflix and chilled, and then I got into bed and I started telling y'all about a story about how I almost missed my flight to go on a date with somebody. And so I might release it, I might not, I don't know. Like, it was okay. I mean, long story short, I didn't talk to the guy anymore, and I almost missed my flight to Miami. But here I am playing around with some lipsticks because somebody other son invited me out for drinks later on that night. And I was like, well, let me try a new red lipstick. You guys know I love a red lippy, but I wasn't really feeling that one. And so I came back home because that one was uneventful as well. And this was my dessert I had for the night. I had this vanilla bean cheesecake that was mixed berry. It was mixed berry vanilla bean cheesecake, and it was amazing. Great nightcap. But moving on, the next day, I got up that morning and I did some Bible study while also taking in this view and just reading and listening and meditating from the 23rd floor. Again, amazing views at this hotel. Like, this view was everything. I could have literally looked out this view all day long. So here I am taking pictures, playing around. I told you guys I was playing with my camera and trying different things. I had went for a little bit of a walk, so you guys see me in my workout dress, my favorite workout dress. And then I came back home to take more pictures. If you guys are interested in these house shoes or any of the lipsticks that you saw in this video, make sure you guys check out my Amazon storefront and my Shop My storefront, which will be linked in the description. And then after that, I left. I went home.